Hello, this is Jo with Jo Ways Leadership, and I'm going to have a bit of a chat to you today about behavioural profiling. Anybody that has worked in corporate has probably had an experience with behavioural profiling. I know whenever I start working with a client, I do use behavioural profiling tools, and it's really interesting because the feedback I get from my clients is pretty varied, actually. And I think the concept of behavioural profiling, let's face it, corporates love it because it means that they can have a tangible thing, they can have a piece of paper in front of them, and they can use that for feedback and to have conversations with people without actually having to use their intuition and trust themselves and go with what feels right, which in some businesses isn't acceptable, although we know that's actually where all the gold is. Hi Sharon, nice to see you. So I wanted to have a bit of a chat about behavioural profiling today because this week I've had a few conversations with people about it, and also I've been asked to put some material together, a couple of paragraphs together for Karen Hollenbach, who's a LinkedIn expert, and she has asked me to write something in her article about behavioural profiling. She's worked with me on LinkedIn. She's amazing if you need any LinkedIn advice, and because she knows that the perspective I come with behavioural profiling is pretty healthy. Hi Wendy, nice to see you. So I wanted to have a chat about it because I think, like any tools, any systems, any sort of advice that we get in our career and our leadership, pretty much any of it, I think, can be used for good, and it can also be used for evil. And I think particularly when we're in leadership roles, we're putting ourselves out there, we're being vulnerable, we're being transparent. You can't hide from a lot of stuff because we're out there, we're making decisions, we're sort of upfront with all of this stuff. It's so important that that whatever systems and tools we're using and advice we're taking on is actually working for us and moving us towards what it is that we want to achieve, rather than holding us back and making us feel bad or crappy about what it is that we're doing. So look, I think many years ago, I heard about behavioural profiling. I was looking at a career change. This is probably about 15 years ago now. And I remember somebody recommending me to speak to this guy. He's like some type of career consultant, I guess. And he asked me to do a questionnaire, and I did that. And when I sat down and did it and, went through the questionnaire, and when I met him for coffee in a cafe here in Melbourne, I remember sitting down and him saying to me, as soon as we sat down, he gave me this, document thing. And he's like, this is really cool. You can look at this document. It's going to be able to tell you what you can do and what you can't do. And apparently we sat there for about 2 hours after this having a conversation. But I don't know, I didn't hear a thing he said after that, because I was very much, you can't tell me what I can do or can't do. Don't you dare put me in a box. That just makes me feel crappy. I don't think that's the point. And all of this. So I was all in my head about, all of the negative connotations about what he'd said to me. And I didn't take in anything that he said. So it was a bit of a useless experience for me. And I know from talking to people about behavioural profiling that this is sort of the experience that a lot of people have. And it's not useful and it's not healthy. The concept of behavioural profiling, and the reason that I love it and I share it with my clients either in one-on-one or in trainings, is because it's all about, or it should be all about, understanding more about ourselves, getting an understanding of what makes us tick, what gives us our energy, what sucks our energy, understanding why some things we love and some things we don't love. Understanding sort of the deeper bits behind the actions that we take and the behaviours that we have. Helping us identify strengths. I mean, I remember years ago getting verbal feedback from people for many years about how I was a great presenter and a great trainer in the workplace. And I was like, oh yeah, this is just something I do and I like. And it was years later that I realised that, oh, hang on, this is something I'm good at. And this is something that I love, and it's something that really gives me energy. Actually, if I do more of this, I'm probably going to feel even better about my career and my job. And, understanding that strength of mine actually helped me change the trajectory of my career, and now trading is a part of my career because I absolutely love it. Hi Erin, nice to see you. So sort of understanding your strengths is one of those things that behavioural profiling can help you do. It can also help us identify where we can add most value in our own life, through our conversations and in our roles that we're so passionate about achieving in and being really great at. It can also help us, get this, it could help us enjoy what it is that we do at work even more. Because imagine if we're doing more things that we're good at and are our strengths and that we enjoy, of course that's going to lead to us enjoying our work even more. We're going to be better communicators, we're going to be better to be around, we're going to be more engaged, we're going to be more productive, we're going to be all of those things as well. Also our communications, it's going to massively help with our communications because we're going to understand, and I was speaking about this at an event this morning, one of the women I was sitting with was saying how her boss at the moment is, just a nightmare and, all of this sort of stuff. And she's a manager of quite a big team. And I was saying to her how, most people aren't put on this earth just to annoy us. And she was like, you know what, I question that because it feels like that at times. And of course it does. But it's just at the moment that their communication models are not matching and their communication styles are not matching, so that there's a lot of frustration and there. So, understanding the way that we communicate and be able to communicate better with others, obviously that's going to be gold in a workplace because it doesn't matter what place you work in, communication is, once you get that down, like everything else just flows so much better. So basically, if you've had an experience with behavioural profiling, as I know a number of my clients have before they've met me, that wasn't negative, that didn't help you have all these amazing insights about yourself and how you can, manage your own energy and, support what it is that you're doing even further and add even more value. If you didn't walk away from that conversation feeling light and free and, having these insights that are going to help you take action to help you do your job and feel even better, then obviously it didn't quite work for you. Erin's just said here that it's also helped her hugely in sales and speaking the right information to each customer. Absolutely, Erin, it absolutely is. So Erin's using it for good, and obviously she's had a really positive experience, which is absolutely amazing because it can get a bit of a bad name out there. Absolutely. So look. Hi Hemi, nice to see you. And Hemi is somebody that's using behavioural profiling quite a bit. So look, if you're getting feedback, around through a behavioural profiling or through some other type of system that your business uses, then look, not all feedback is equal, I would like to say. Some feedback is going to be really bang on and helpful and help you move forward and get the results you want even more and move more easily and effortlessly towards what you want. If that's not happening, then, maybe not all feedback is useful for you and not all feedback is going to be equal, as I said. Something that I learned a long time ago, hi David, nice to see you. One of the things that I learned a fair while ago when I was delivering some behavioural profiling training, that's what I'm talking about now, leadership branding training, which is something that I do in my business, is we talk about feedback. And somebody said to me once, well, what happens if someone gives you feedback? And thank you for the love and the thumbs up today. What if somebody gives you feedback and you don't think it's something you want to take on? And I said, well, one of the great things to know is when to take feedback on and when not to take feedback on. And I think that this is relevant with behavioural profiling. It's relevant with when we're using systems, whenever we're taking advice, when we're asking a mentor or a coach for some input on something. We've sort of got to run it through our own filters. And I think it's also really beneficial to ask us, if I take this on, is it going to help me move towards the results I want? Is it not going to have an impact, or is it going to move me away from the results that I want and who I'm becoming? Because if it's not going to support you in moving forward towards what you want, make you feel better about what you're doing, add even more value, all of those things that you want to get out of life and your career and your leadership, then you know what? Let it go. Just let it move on like a cloud in the sky. Because as I said, not all feedback, not all systems, not all behavioural profiling tools are equal. So if it's not working for you, if you don't feel lighter, hi Jason, if you don't feel lighter, if you don't feel that it's supporting you and helping you be your best, then you know what? Let it go. Because I think, for me, I absolutely know, and for the clients that I work with, deep down, all we want is to feel good, to be able to be happy, and to feel like we're adding some value, you know? And if these systems and tools are not helping you do that, let it go and move on. Have a fabulous day. That's my message for today. My message today is definitely about, it doesn't matter if it's behavioural profiling tool or anything else, whenever we're getting feedback or advice from anybody else or any systems or anything out there, run it through your own filters. Trust yourself. You honestly do know when you're on the right track. So really, really trust yourself. Use things that are going to help you move forward and create the life and to be happy and to be able to add value in the way that you want. Have an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye. Where's my stop button? I'm going to probably hang on here for a while because I can't find the stop button.